Hello there, welcome back to Carl and Debbie Trains. Today I've got another locomotive to review. This time it's an 08, a Hornby 08, and it's number R3484. And again, the box is already empty, she's already down on the track, so let's take a look. So here you can see we've got an 08, and this is a Hornby model of R3484, and she was built in 2016. So most people know about Class 08, so this is British Rail's version of the diesel shunters. It was originally from the LMS, and they took those LMS designs and made them into the 08 design, of which there was 966 built. As of 2020 at least, there was about 100 of these still in full operation, though not necessarily on the main line, but in branch lines and things. And because of the nature of that, and because of how many there was, these always ended up in heritage railways, and most heritage railways have one of these diesel shunters, just because they're so practical, and that's why there were so many of them. So the Class 08 was a diesel electric shunting locomotive built by British Rail, and is a standard general purpose diesel shunter. They were introduced in 1952, and like I said, many of them still operate today, but many more have been preserved, and you'll see them everywhere. So these were first introduced in 1952, but because of the nature of the railways and how they've changed over the years, their shunting duties got less and less. So typically nowadays with freight, they're preset rakes, and obviously with the passenger services, they're full sets, and they don't get separated very often, so you don't need these shunting locos as much, and hence they're not used as much. However, they are still out there. So like I mentioned earlier, this is basically based off an LMS model, which actually later became the Class 11, and you'll also find these are Class 9, the 10 and the 11. They're all very similar in specs and sizes. There's variations on all of them. And then of course most people would know is a Class 13 that was used in one location within the country, and only like 3 sets were ever built, and they're basically two 08s joined together with the cab stripped out of one of them, and they're hooked in as master-slave. Beautiful locos if you get a chance to have a look at them. So for this model here, this has been built by Hornby. It's 2016, it's got NEM couplings, 5-pole screw round motor, which is DCC Ready in this case with an 8-pin decoder, and the model itself is Era 5. And she's obviously got the BR logos without the wasp stripes, which must have come in a little bit later. Right, here I've got every locomotive's worst nightmare. I've got a left and a right point, and these are the short points, not the express points. So if she can get over these without any trouble, she should be okay anywhere. So I'm going to bring her through at 50% power and see what she does. Absolutely beautiful. And back. That is really good. Let's just check. So here's my Bachmann 08. I don't know what year she was made, but she's not exactly new, but let's have a look at her doing the same thing. Pretty good, but she does tend to hobble over some of the points a little bit. So the Hornby one is much better. In fact, my Bachmann's just cut out on me. We'll ignore that. That's actually a good loco. Right, I'm just going to do a hooking up test, see how she copes with that. As you can see, that was absolutely beautiful. Just what you want from a locomotive. Okay, the next thing I want to show you is how she can cope with a small incline. Now you might not tell very much on the track, but the incline starts from about here and gets to the top about here. It's not terribly steep, but when I leave wagons on there, they do roll. So let's just make sure she can cope with that. So she definitely slowed down, but she still made it without any problems, so I think that's okay. So my final feelings on this, this Hornby 08 is really good. I've got to admit, this is not my locomotive. I've borrowed it from a friend who's just bought it today, and as I offered to run it in for him, which I've done before I did any of this, which is really good. So thanks Nick for letting me borrow this. It's a really fantastic 08. You're lucky to have it. He picked it up from a small model railway show in Leicestershire. I say small, he had about 11 layouts I believe and about 5 stalls. So it just shows you these kind of bargains that are out there. This one in particular was £118. Online and model railway shops you're looking at 170, or if you go into Hornby, £200. So this is a really good buy. It was brand new, never been used, and it's perfect. It couples well, it goes up inclines, it has no trouble with points, and for all the running I've done of this today, I haven't had any trouble with it. She's a beautiful diesel, so yeah, if you see one out there, pick her up.